Imagine this, you're standing in a meeting room, a debate is raging, people are talking over one another, voices are rising, egos are clashing, chaos. Then one person, without raising their voice, without pounding the table, utters a single phrase, "We're moving on." And just like that, silence. Heads nod, the energy shifts, everyone follows. Now here's the question, why does that happen? Why do certain words spoken by certain people cause others to instantly yield? Why do some individuals command respect effortlessly, while others fight endlessly for scraps of attention and authority? Today, I'm going to reveal to you the secret behind this invisible power. I will give you 5 phrases that, when spoken once, will anchor you as the authority in the room. But more importantly, I'll show you the psychology behind them, why they work, how they work, and how you can use them without sounding arrogant or aggressive. Because let's be clear, true authority is not about domination, it's about presence. The psychology of respect and language, human beings are wired to respond to signals of certainty. When we encounter someone who embodies clarity, who speaks with calm finality, something deep inside us surrenders. It's not weakness, it's instinct. Think about it. When a child is afraid and a parent says, "I've got this, you're safe," the child relaxes instantly. Not because the words are magical, but because the certainty behind them penetrates fear. Adults aren't so different. Beneath our suits, our careers, our arguments, we are still creatures searching for stability in the voices of others. And when we encounter someone who carries certainty, we yield, not because we are forced to, but because it feels natural. This is the essence of respect, and respect is not shouted into existence. It is spoken into existence with precision. So let's dive into the 5 phrases that command respect. Phrase 1, I've already made my decision. There is nothing more commanding than finality. When you say, "I've already made my decision," you are signaling that your mind is not open to negotiation, persuasion, or manipulation. You are drawing a line in the sand, and with it, you eliminate endless debate. Why does this work? Because indecision breeds weakness. When people sense that you are uncertain, they will push. They will test you, argue with you, and try to bend you. But the moment you remove the possibility of persuasion, you remove their leverage. Think of history's great leaders, generals in war, CEOs during crisis, visionaries making impossible choices. The ones who earned respect were not always the ones who were right, but they were the ones who were decisive. Let me tell you a story. There was a young executive who had to decide whether to shut down a failing branch of his company. The board pressured him to delay. His team begged him to reconsider. He listened, nodded, and then said, "I've already made my decision." Silence filled the room. No more arguments. Why? Because finality speaks louder than explanation. Now, how do you use this phrase in your life? When someone pressures you to say yes, but you know the answer is no. When people attempt to reopen decisions you've already settled. When you need to demonstrate that you are not someone who wavers. But here's the key. Never use this phrase unless you truly mean it. If you backtrack after saying it, you destroy your credibility. The power of this phrase lies in its finality. Say it once. Stand firm. Watch respect flow toward you. Phrase 2, that doesn't work for me. This phrase is a boundary in verbal form. Too often, people fall into the trap of explaining. Someone makes a request, and instead of a firm no We give long justifications. I'm sorry, I can't, because... But the more you explain, the more people think they can negotiate. That doesn't work for me is powerful because it is simple, clean, and unarguable. It places you in control without being rude. Here's why it works psychologically. It avoids apology, which signals weakness. It avoids over-explaining, which signals insecurity. It frames your refusal as a fact, not an opinion. Imagine someone asks you to stay late at work, but you've promised your family you'll be home. Instead of fumbling for excuses, you simply say, that doesn't work for me. And notice what happens. The power shifts. Instead of you justifying yourself to them, they must adjust themselves to you. This phrase is especially vital in relationships. People who cannot say no become doormats. People who set boundaries become respected. Respect always follows boundaries. And remember, a clear boundary said once is stronger than 1,000 apologies said repeatedly. Phrase 3T, explain it to me clearly. This is the phrase of intellectual authority. When someone tries to confuse you, manipulate you, or bury you in jargon, you don't argue back. You don't raise your voice. You don't get lost in their storm. Instead, you calmly say, explain it to me clearly. For the brilliance of this phrase is that it shifts the burden. Instead of you struggling to decode their words, you make them responsible for clarity. And most manipulators crumble under this demand because confusion is their weapon. Let me give you an example. A lawyer once faced a witness who was evading every question with vague answers. The lawyer didn't argue. He simply repeated, explain it to me clearly, again and again. Eventually, the witness cracked because evasion cannot survive under the weight of demanded clarity. In everyday life, you can use this phrase when someone tries to overwhelm you with details. When you suspect someone is hiding something, when you want to cut through noise and get to truth. Clarity is a weapon, and those who demand it always rise above those who drown in ambiguity. Phrase 4, we're moving on. This phrase is the hallmark of leadership. Have you ever been trapped in an endless meeting where people circle the same point over and over? The energy drains, the respect for leadership diminishes. But the moment someone says, we're moving on, authority is restored. This works because groups crave direction. Without someone cutting through the fog, groups collapse into chaos. When you use this phrase, you signal that time, energy, and focus belong to you, and others align. But this phrase is not only for meetings. Use it in arguments. Use it in personal conflicts. Use it when someone keeps trying to drag you back into the past. Imagine a partner bringing up the same old fight again and again. You listen, acknowledge, and then you say, we're moving on. It doesn't mean you dismiss their feelings. It means you refuse to live in repetition. It means you choose progress over stagnation. Respect always follows those who move forward. Phrase 5D, I will not repeat myself. This is the ultimate phrase of authority. Why? Because it tells the world that your words are final. They are not to be ignored, not to be negotiated, not to be asked twice. Parents know this instinctively. The child who hears, I will not repeat myself, learns quickly that this is the boundary of patience. But in adult life, this phrase is just as powerful. When you say it, you elevate your words from casual to commanding. You signal that your speech has weight, that your time and energy are too valuable to be wasted on repetition. And here's the truth. People respect what they fear losing. When they realize you will not waste your breath twice, they lean in the first time. Use this phrase carefully. Too often, and it becomes arrogance. But when deployed at the right moment, silence follows. And in that silence, respect is born. Now, let me tell you the secret no one admits. These phrases alone will not save you. If you whisper them with hesitation, they collapse. If you shout them with insecurity, they crumble. Their power does not come from syllables. It comes from you. The way you breathe before saying them, the way you hold eye contact after saying them, the way you remain calm, unshaken, unhurried. Authority is not in the phrase, it is in the presence. So practice, stand tall, slow your speech, look people in the eye, and when the time comes, drop these phrases like anchors. Say them once and mean them. My friends, respect is not about demanding, it is about embodying. The world bends not to the loudest voice, but to the clearest one. People submit not to those who argue endlessly, but to those who speak once and mean it. So remember these 5 phrases. I've already made my decision. Oh, that doesn't work for me. Explain it to me clearly. We're moving on. Oh, I will not repeat myself. Use them wisely. Speak them once, and watch as the world responds, not with resistance, but with respect. Thank you.